Hello all, hopefully we're in the right place at the right time and you can hear us and you can see us. Now, as always, we have started a couple of minutes early, so no pressure or panics if you're not quite here yet, but we always like to get on just a couple of minutes before 7, just in case something goes terribly wrong. It's always that fear when you do a live, and especially when you've told people to be at a certain place at a certain time, that you can't get all of the gadgets to line up and work. And we've had it a couple of times and it's saved our bacon. So we always like to try and start just a fraction early, just in case. Because we're a fraction early, I haven't even found all the bits I need yet. It's been one of them days here where, I don't know, we've just kind of gone round in circles, but in a good way. And a very lovely day. And we've seen lots of people. I said to Pete a few minutes ago, I think Bob Geldof's going to pop in next, because it's just been one of them days where every couple of minutes somebody rings or appears that you really didn't expect to hear from or talk to. But it's been absolutely lovely. And we've chatted to some really lovely people today throughout the day. So then, I believe you can hear us. I believe you're with us. Please let us know, as always, if you can hear us and you can see us. I can see that Catherine is with us. Good evening, Catherine. Good evening, Wendy. We have got some amazing samples to share with you this evening from Wendy, as well as Sharon and Ian and Lynn. I'm going to be honest with you. No, I haven't even told you, have I? Tonight, if you didn't know, is our sneaky peek night. So we are going to be looking at our brand new collection. Now, this isn't available to purchase just yet. This is literally sneaky peek night. So this means that we're going to take you through the collection. We're going to show you loads of samples done by the design team. We're going to do a couple of demos if we can fit them in, if I don't waffle too long as we take you through all the different bits and bobs, and hopefully give you a bit of inspiration of what you can be creating with our brand new collection. And it's our very first launch of 2025. So, and it's one I have been really looking forward to, and one that I know the DT have absolutely loved. Now, before we go much further, let's say good evening to Peter. We've got Pete in the room with us this evening, and I think he's now caught up and with us. So let's just say hello to Peter.
Evening all, how are we all doing?
You look really short today. I think I've changed where the camera is. You look like I've shrunk you. You looked last time like I'd kept you hostage in the corner. And today
I'm still hostage in a corner.
Today you look a little bit like I've shrunk you. I think we need to play with that camera angle, but never mind. It doesn't matter. You know what? It's so funny. You really do get to the stage when you just feel you're amongst friends and you don't mind what's going on. You just get on with it. Somewhere around here, I've got a really tufty bit of hair that keeps sticking up and going wayward. And it's just like, hey ho, it's life, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter. Now, Kim.
Kim, you said, was at the pub.
Kim told us in the comments that Kim was going to the pub, but I believe we've won, which is kind of lovely. So it's lovely to have you with us, Kim. And I'm glad the pub won, because we won over the pub, because I am getting a bit concerned. I was wondering what number I'd got to Google and add to your comment, or what help website, because we do need to discuss this, Kim. There was a lot of time spent in the pub, which I'm no judgment.
And we're not invited.
I think that's probably where the more bitterness comes in, is that we're not invited. So yes.
I said we need to do a live from the pub one night, didn't we?
Pete did say that.
Jamie wasn't really feeling it.
He said we should do a live from the pub with Kim. Do you remember, and this is not why you have tuned in at all, I'm sorry, all of you, and I promise we'll get talking about craft shortly. But do you remember
Monday's no different to Thursday, is it?
No, we're never really on par with what we're meant to be doing. But do you remember Niall's house party?
I do.
Where every week he would appear in somebody's front room,
and
just turn up. We should do that.
We could go live.
We could do that.
Glue Lady or
Glue Lady or Kim in the pub. We could do a little talk. Okay, sorry, we're being really daft, aren't we? I apologise. So then this evening we have got, I don't even know how many items to introduce you to. About 12, 10, 12, 10,
well,
12.
I don't know.
I think 12.
We'll go with
12 items to introduce you to. This is our brand new collection for 2025, and I think one that you're going to absolutely love. Now, as I was trying to get to, and I don't think I did actually ever get there, I've got hundreds of samples. The DT genuinely have loved this collection, and I've told you this before, we've got 2 releases in January, so they had double the amount to do this month to what we normally have, and they had Christmas and New Year's, obviously, and yet they've still, each and every one of them, delivered more samples than they needed to. And to me, that shows how much they've fallen in love with this collection and how creative they've been with it. So I'm hoping that you're going to fall in love with it as much as they have and as much as I have, because there is so much that you can achieve with this collection. So I can see lots of people are joining us. So let's say hello to a few people before we go off, because we've chatted and I've waffled and we've spoke about Nile Edmonds. Let's have a little look. Margarita is with us. Kathleen is here. Portia's with us. Angie's here. Lovely to see Angie. Angie says, honey, I shrunk my Peter. All right, I like that. I might adopt that. Anne's here. Evening, all of you. Evening, Angie. Evening, Pauline. Evening, Samantha. Evening, Sandra. Evening, Ian. Sharon. I know it's going too quick for me to see you all. Sorry. Deb's with us. Alison's with us. It's lovely to see you all here. So thank you. It's a big night. It's a big launch. So let's get on with it, shall we? Because I keep telling you about it. So then, what did you predict this release was going to be? Did you have any guesses? Did you have any predictions of what this was going to be? Well, I'm going to put you out of your misery and get on with it, because that's what we're here to do. So our first release of this year is our mechanical collection. And I wanted to do like a manly-esque collection, but of course it's not just for men. It's not, you know, and it's so hard, isn't it? We talk about masculine cards and we talk about men's collection. We live in a world now where there isn't really just two themes, is there are two styles. And this collection, hopefully, like one of the cards we're going to do is covered in flowers, but gone down a steampunky-esque route. And to me, that was really important. I wanted to bring a mechanical collection that you could use for your Father's Day, your husband's, your anything really. All of those sort of tricky men's cards, those tricky teenager cards. But equally, you know, if you want to make Mother's Day card and go steampunky with it, why not? You know, and it's going to cover all of them elements for you. And I felt if we launched this in January, we've got the whole year ahead of us, and there's no reason why we couldn't even do a mechanically steampunky Christmas when it gets to that as well. So it's hopefully going to be a collection that's going to take you all throughout the year and stops off at lots of different points along the way and can work with lots of things you've already got, and of course add to a few collections that we've brought to you previously. And there's more to it as we go through it. So let's start, shall we? So our first die we're going to start off with is our cogs. Now, you can never have a mechanical collection if we don't have cogs. We need those bits to be the essential parts to what we are doing. Now, with this collection, we also wanted to do something slightly different. We have bought you a lot of nesting dies recently, haven't we? We've bought you squares, we've bought you circles, we've bought you ovals, we've bought you lots and lots of different collections. But I also wanted to really do another nesting die. But I wanted to do it in a way in which it didn't mean you'd got to front up another £30 for a whole nested set of dies. So instead, what we have done is in each die set we're going to introduce you to, you are going to receive a different size of cog square. So we're going to go up in these in size order. This is our smallest die set, so cog set. Code number is JRCD0067. And this one is retailing for £9.99. And in here, as you can see, you've got one plate, which is going to cut all of your different cogs out for you in multiple different sizes. And then you've got your edging die to go around it. Now, the bit we haven't discussed is when can you get hold of this? And I'm going to do that. I'm going to break off and do that before I forget. So this collection will be available on Highlight Crafts exclusively on Thursday and Friday. Now, I know before Christmas we told you we would be on Friday and Saturday. There's been a bit of a change, and we're now going to be on Thursdays and Fridays. But it's good because it means we're going to bring you 2 hours on Thursday, and then on Friday we're going to have a 2-hour back-to-back show. And I'm going to get Pete to look up those times. And next time we talk about this, I'm going to tell you the times, because that's something I forgot to do, is write the times down, which we should know. It's on the Highlight Crafts TV guide if you're panicking like I am. I don't know where I've put it, but we'll look that up and we'll give you the times in just a moment. But we'll be on Thursday, we'll be on Friday. There's 4 hours. 3 of them will be designated to this collection. And on the other hour, we're going to be bringing you some more inspiration with the Essential collection. Then after the exclusivity with Highlight ends, which will be on Monday the 20th, it will then be released to all of our stockists, and you're going to be able to pick this up at any stockist that you'd like to. And as you know, you can pop onto our website. We don't sell direct, but on there is a list of all of the stockists you're going to be able to track this collection down at. Now, that's the bit I should have done before we started looking at the dies. So let's go back to the dies, shall we? You don't listen to me waffle that much. Much more exciting. So let's have a little look. That was our first die, giving you your cog collection, and which 2 dies, but lots more in that one. Then we move on. Oh, I'll show you the board as well. I'm all out of sorts, aren't I? I'm a bit excited tonight. Forgive me, please. So cog die set that is your background that we're creating. These are your first set of cogs. Of course, if you wanted to nest them together, you can create a core background. Then you could nest the dies back inside them, but you absolutely don't have to if you don't want to. It's more just showing you options of what you could create with those if you wish. We then move on and we're going to look at the corners. So we're going up a size with these ones, and this is your corner set. Now this is bringing back one of my favourite ideas. With this one, what we have is we have our X die with a cog-esque finish to it. We then have 4 cog corners. There's a lot of colours in this, isn't there? 4 cog corners which can be used inside our X die to cut out and create separate corner pieces if we wish to, or can remain inside your card by not using the X die. So they're going to stay in place if you were to cut them into a panel, but if you bring them in and put them in the X die, they're going to cut out with the actual independent corner. Or of course you can use the X die to cut the backing plates to go behind the filigree panels. That's a lot of ramblings, isn't it? Let's show you on a board, that might make more sense. So on your board, the backing plates created with just the X die, putting them together using the filigree die and the X die, or using them on their own to just cut the pink backgrounds. Then again, we step up with the next size of your nested set of squares. So this again is going to come in around the outside of the die set, and it's going to give you the second stage in our nested set of dies. So basically, the more of these you collect from this set, the more options you're going to have for your nesting ability. And that to me was really important because it gives you a real good reason to need the whole collection and have that interchangeability between the sets. So that's our first 2. Cog corners, recommended retail price $12.99. Cogs on their own, recommended retail price $9.99, sorry. We then move on. So let's just check on, have we got any comments? Oh, these are a definite must-have. I'm glad to hear you say that, Kim. I'm in love with this collection. There is so much you're going to do with this, honestly. And we're just scratching the surface tonight on what I'm going to be able to share with you. So first 2 in your layering dies have already been covered. Let's move on to the next one. And this is what I mean about all year round, all different occasions, all different themes, all different abilities. We move on to your DIY essentials. Now again, this is a 2 die set, because I can't stand it when I've got lots of little dies that I keep losing. So we've put them all together for you on one panel. And on here you've got pliers, you've got screws, you've got screw heads, paintbrushes, saws, screwdrivers, hammers, spanners, everything you could, even a tape measure, everything you could think of that you need to create your toolboxes with, or even break off and make backgrounds with, or use to make letters. I don't know why I keep seeing Dad being spelt out between the different tools. I don't know why, but you could do if you want to. We'll cover more of that shortly. You've then got your next size up in your nested set. So we'll bring that in and we'll add that to our collection. So we're now up to 3 sizes within our nested ability being created by those 3 to keep up with this. Then, oh, little board to show you how those look, because it's nice for you to see them cut out. So when these cut, not only will they cut, they will also deboss. So when you come to colouring the drills, or maybe you want to add details to the tape measure or onto the paintbrushes, they're all marked out for you, so you can just go in and easily add colour and depth, maybe rub an ink pad over the top of them if you wish to, but they're all going to be debossed for you, so they're easy to add detail to if you want to. Then we move on. I think this one's my favourite set. I think, and I'll ask you again shortly what one's your favourite when we get through all of the different sets, but I think this one's my favourite. I absolutely love this. We had some requests for this theme a little while ago, and it's lovely to be able to bring your requests in and actually bring them to reality. So this is our next set. This is Racing Essentials. Now this set's recommended retail price is $17.99, and in here we get 8 different dies. So again, we have got a motorbike, hot rod car, racing car, trophy, champagne bottle, flags, and a petrol pump. And I love the petrol pump because it's got a little Route 66 symbol on the top of it. It's also got gas to deboss into the front of it. And it just gives you that brilliant ability to be able to build a scene. So whatever vehicle you wish to go with, placing that with the petrol pump, to me, builds a bit of a scene with it. And these are so much fun to work with. Then, of course, you're getting your 4th size within that set of our nested shapes. So we can bring that one in and we can add that into our collection. When we go to looking at this in a board format, so you can actually see what these cut out like. So of course, we've got our square in here. We then have all of our different cars or vehicles. Now, of course, the flames come out of the inside of the little hot rod. So that gives you the aperture to decorate in behind. You could put some glitters in there, some gilding flakes in there. You could cut the flames out of another colour and put them back inside if you wish to. There's loads of deboss work on these too. So when it comes to colouring them and decorating them or cutting them and piecing them back together, you've got loads of markings to go in and be able to do that. Then you've got your champagne, your flags, your trophy, and of course your little gas pump, which I think is super adorable. Then we move on. There is another one to go. We move on to our cog background. Now this one's recommended retail price is $19.99. Now this is absolutely gorgeous. It's a large die, so size-wise, because we're talking about one piece, it might be nice for you to know sizes. The largest on this one is 6 inches by 6 inches, which of course is our outside edge. Now the main panel die to this doesn't have an outside edge attached to it. So if you wish to take this die and cut it into your card front, you absolutely can do. If you wish to trim it out, you can. If you wish to use it with the cog border or outside edge, then of course you can do, to cut it free as a freestanding item. This one, if the pattern looks familiar to you, this is because this is the same cog design that we bought to you way back with the Kaleidoscope collection. So when you look to this cog section, this is me bringing this out from that one little panel and turning it into a background. And this is something we go on about all the time, is being able to grow our collections, because it means that you're going to have bits that coordinate together so everything matches. This little corner, which comes in this set as well, is perfect for building up your scenes with the different pieces throughout this collection as well. So again, you might already have this in your stash, and it's going to come in time after time to work with the new collection. And that's something we really love doing, is building on and giving you more versatility with the items that you've already got. So then let's bring in that die. We'll add on that die into our little set here as well, knowing that this one is 6 inches by 6 inches, gives you a bit of a guide working down from them. When we go onto our panel, we can see this now cut out with that outside edge, if that's one you'd like to use, or of course it being left inside a larger square, meaning that you can choose whether that's a card front, whether you want to tile cut it, whether you want to leave it with a nice wide frame, all options you're going to have. Then of course you've got your last panel with those edges around them, or your next panel I should say, not your last, your next one. Then we move on to our last die set in this collection, and I think probably Lynn and Ian's favourites, and they're here with us this evening so they can let us know if I'm on the right path. This is our Steampunk Essentials, and in here we have 8 dies. So I'm going to give this a little lift up for you. You have got a beautiful pipe corner. We've got our lovely steampunk hat. We have the clock mechanism to go inside our stopwatch. We then have the chain to hang on to the stopwatch. We have the little key, which again, great for 18, great for 21st birthdays. The chain also fits perfectly with the key. And then we have our little flying ship. I love the flying ship. I absolutely adore the little flying ship. That all goes together. And then of course that is nested inside our largest of our postage, or I keep calling them cog edges. We do a postage set. This is the cog edge set. That set is $24.99 as a recommended retail price, which I actually hope you're going to think is good value, because when we go in and look at all of these independents, there's an awful lot in there. There's a lot of metal coming in this set and a lot of versatility. And when we look at them as individual dies, that works out relatively, hopefully, really good value per item. And that brings in our largest size of our nested shapes. Now, I know I keep going on about these, but one of the bits I love with this is these fit within the sizes of our already existing square dies. So this one, for instance, is our pierced set of dies. If we was to go in and bring this in, that's going to fit perfectly within the middle of that set. So when you've got your pierced set, which comes with the scallops, or whether you've got the stitch lines which come with the decal edges from our original sets of squares, Or maybe it isn't about adding a stitch or a pierce line. Maybe it's thinking about adding in a different edge around the outside of it. Or maybe you want the plain squares to go on the inside of it and cut this out as a frame. They're all going to work together. You know that we like to do this. Everything builds, everything works together. So all of these different square dies that are already available are going to work in conjunction with our brand new Cog Edge set. And of course, although we're highlighting the squares, you could put the ovals into these, you could put the circles into these. It still all works together if that's something you would like to do. But it's nice that you see everything matches perfectly within those sets if that's something you'd like to see. Now then, let's move on and have a little look at our next components. I don't think I did show you the board, did I? I'm going to show you the board because even if I show it to you, I'm going to show it to you again because it's beautiful. So we've got our little key down here. Now I'm going to let that focus so you can see the deboss work on there. We've got our chain that's cut out. We've got our little flying ship. I love that flying ship. That is so easy to go in and colour and make look really beautiful. Even the little hat's got little rivets on it and little like debossed lines. Then we go into that beautiful pipe corner that is really lovely to just add in some little embellishments to. Then we've got for you, of course, our stopwatch, giving you the back and the front to it. I really love that. It's got some great little deboss work running around it. You can see that deboss fluted edge is going to match in really nicely with the fluted edges that you receive on all of the different fluted edge dies as well. And then of course you've got that edge to go with it. So just to recap, you have got your Steampunk Essentials. We have got our Cog background. We have got our Racing Essentials. We've got our DIY Essentials. We've got our Cog centres. And somewhere around here, we have got our Cogs. Where have I put our Cog boards? I've lost a board, Pete, already. How have I done that?
Uh-oh.
We've got the Cogs somewhere, haven't we? I don't know where it's gone. It's got to be here somewhere, but we've got a Cog board to finish that all off. And then, of course, if you did just want to see all of those, these are your Cog nested dies put together. So not available as a set on its own, but it's going to come to you in with all of those other die sets as a value way. I've found it as a value way of you being able to build yet another nested die set. Now, if you like this concept, please let us know, because if you know us, we're always looking to the next collections and the next collections. And we felt this was a really good value way of you being able to build a nesting set without actually having to go out and buy another nesting set of dies. Now, this doesn't always apply, and it does vary depending on what brands and collections and what details and bits. But normally when we're pricing dies and we're having them manufactured, it's usually down to the size of the metal. So when we add on just a little edge around the edges, we pay pennies for that extra addition for you. So if we can buy them in cheaper to give you that ability, you're not paying loads to have it because the sets are already being done for you. But that bonus means you end up with a nesting set without having to buy out for a nesting set. So it's our way of trying to give you even more value for money when you're purchasing the dies and saving you from then saying, well, actually, I love those dies, but I'm then going to buy another nesting set to go with it. So it's something that we wanted to trial with this collection. But if you fall in love with that concept as much as we do, then we'll try and factor that into future releases. So maybe, you don't have to jump in the comments now, but maybe in time it's something you can give us your feedback on, because if it's something you see the bonus and ability of, then it's something we will do more of. We just want to try and bring you the best value that we can possibly bring you. Then there's a little bit more to go to this collection. You know us, you know we love a stencil. We couldn't leave you without stencils. So let's bring in our stencils for this collection. Now there's only 2 this time, but that background was too good not to bring you a stencil. So we had to bring you a matching stencil. We've taken the die design that you see here and we've enlarged it ever so slightly so that we could make you have an 8x8 background. We didn't want to stop at the size of the die, but we didn't want the die to be too large. So instead we felt, well, if we gave you a blown up version for your stencil, it would give you more distance to cover or more ability, and again, bring you better value for money. So with your stencil, that one, of course, is the same as all of our 8x8 stencils. It has a recommended retail price of £5.99, and of course can be embossed through your machines or used with all of your texture paste, glitters, and other mediums to create some lovely effects. Then our last little pack, and again, we are doing something new. We are bringing you mini masks. This little set of masks has 16 different size Cogs stencils in here. And this set retails for $4.99. Now, when we break into these, this gives you the ability to play around with all of these different cogs and make, I think I've got 2 sets here just for clarification. You'll get 16, but it means you can turn these into little backgrounds. You can ink them and use them for letterpressing. You can mist over them. You can stamp with them. You can do loads with these. And they're just a really fun way to break down those cogs and play around with them. So that's your mini mask set, and it's our first mini mask set, but one again I've really enjoyed playing around with, and I think we'll do more of those moving forward. But your mini mask set is $4.99, and in there you're going to receive 16 different cog stencils. So let us know in the comments what you're thinking. I can see a few of you like the ideas, like what's coming. No wonder there was excitement, Fran says. Yeah, I genuinely, this has been a really hard secret for us to keep because we've known this collection's coming for a little while, and we've just wanted to share it with you because there's so much going on with this and so many ways you're going to be able to play and create with this. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I really do. If it's a topic I feel that a lot of us have struggled with for a long time because there's not a lot of masculine-y sort of mechanically bits out there, is there? And to have everything coordinate together, to me, great fun. So I've got a million samples to share with you. I can see we're already half hour in, so I'm not going to share every sample we've got with you, but we'll share more with you obviously on the shows on Highlight, when we do Craft Stash next week, when we bring you more Facebook Lives in next Monday, that'll be, won't it? Yeah, it'll be next Monday, our next Facebook Live, won't it? So there'll be more and more coming, promise, but we're going to take a few bits because I want you to see some bits, especially starting off with our first project. Now I've broke these sort of sneaky peeks down to the die set so you can see particularly which ones we're using, but a lot of them have got multiple pieces on there. So this is our little hat box created by Lynn on our design team. Now Lynn has coloured this, it's black card, our black card, that she's covered using the metallic ink pads, and she's used the cogs to create this really cool little wraparound going around the box. I thought this was absolutely beautiful and fell completely in love with it. And it shows really how these little cogs could be stacked, layered, bordered, and create all different sort of styles and borders and bits for every project you're ever going to do. Whether it's a scrapbook page, a sort of plaque, home decor, cards, doesn't matter, it's going to work. Then the other thing I love doing with these little cogs is bringing them in and posting them into our flowers. So this, of course, is our Ripple Bloom flowers. You're going to see our foliage dies in here. I can never remember. Entwined yep. Foliage, something like that, that come out in our last release just before Christmas. Bringing in them clock mechanisms, bringing in that steampunk ship. In the background, you might also see our script stamp. So again, working with all of the different collections, bringing them together. That one's been coloured with our metallic inks. So everything we're bringing you will come back and work together is always our plan. And this is kind of trying to share that with you in a few samples. So again, we've got our post-it, I keep calling it post-it, cog edge squares. And then we've brought in the scallops ovals. Oh, I've really lost the plot now. I'm calling it an oval a circle. It's all going wrong, Pete. You have to take over. Scalloped ovals with our pierced ovals. And again, our pierced squares being nested inside our cog edges. We don't make life easy, do we? There's a lot going on there. Again, we've got our twiddly bits coming in, and we've got our key, we've got our cogs being posted in around the apertures just to make it all work together. Now this is lovely. Another one here by Lynn, showing you how your cogs can be turned into all different shapes. It doesn't have to be dotted in with flowers and bits. We have some more cog samples. We've got more cog samples. I don't know. Is that all the ones I've set up? Then this is a little wooden plaque. I don't know how well you're going to see this. I've cut the cogs out of mirror card and then I've painted over the top of them. Oh, I know what I haven't shown you. I'm seeing the little sprinkles on there, and I've remembered now the other new item that we haven't even introduced you to yet. So yeah, that's another little plaque for you. We're going to break off. There are more samples. I'm not going to share all of them with you because we're going to have to share something with you another day, but we're going to show you the other new item because I forgot. Let's bring you back. So our other new item. This is rather exciting. We shared with you a little teaser, didn't we, of a bottle. And I have a feeling a few of you have probably guessed right along the lines. we have for you our brand new Gemstones Glitter. There are 4 colours available in this release. There will be more colours coming to you shortly, but there are 4 colours in the collection currently. These are 50ml bottles. I love the bottles. I've totally fallen in love with them. I think they're super cute. They remind me of posh perfume bottles. I don't know why. But there are 4 colours. There will be more colours to match in with the rest of our Gemstones collection as we go through the year. But we've started off with what we felt was A, your essentials, and B, the ones that go in mostly with the mechanical collection. So there is Argentite, Rose Quartz, Black Onyx, and Heliodor. And they do literally match in perfectly with the glitter that you will find in our texture pastes. And I say they will match in perfectly because it's actually the same glitter. So what we've done is, instead of putting it into a texture paste format, we've brought it to you in its individual particle style so that everything again coordinates and matches. But what you'll find is the same intense sparkle that I know you've all fallen in love with our Gemstones texture paste is now available for you in a loose format. So you can play with it as a glitter and use it over your self-adhesive sheets. Of course, just before Christmas, we bought you our get me words lost now. We bought you our clear texture paste. This is the perfect ingredient to be sprinkling over your clear texture paste or adding in. You know how we did that wonderful bundle with the Elite Misters, and I kept saying to you at the time, sprinkling gilding flakes, sprinkling glitter. This is the glitter you're going to want to sprinkle into it, because it's going to bring you that intense sparkle that's going to give you even more options that you can create with. So 4 brand new colours of glitter, and we'll show you some samples for those as well, because they're really, really pretty. So let's give you a little wiggle of this one. So this one, of course, is with those cogs we was just looking at, which is what reminded me I hadn't shared it with you. So the cogs have been stuck onto a self-adhesive sheet, and then the Argentite glitter has been sprinkled over the top. And then this one's probably showing you just how sparkly and impressive this glitter is. I know Lynn said to me recently, this is the most sparkliest glitter she's ever used. And I really want that to be your first thoughts when you play with this too, because it is really intense. So going back to the dies, because again, I'm waffling a lot and we've got a lot to share with you. This one is our corner dies. A little project here done by Wendy that I absolutely fell in love with. Wendy's made a little gift box. She's used the cogs on the corners, which I thought was really lovely. She's used the corner cogs. She's bought in the Steampunk ship. Then when we go into the inside of the box, she has made the perfect little set of cards to give as a gift. So if you've got somebody who's into their steampunky bits, what a lovely gift to give that they can then send throughout the year. So you've got birthday wishes on this one, you've got best wishes coming in on this one. You can see the background, you can see the cogs, you can see the pipework. Love the way that Wendy has connected the pipework to make it a bigger feature. Really actually looks like a got a complete background, which is really lovely. So there's no reason why you couldn't take that, build your own background. Then we've got the Steampunk ship and the cogs coming in. We've got our background stencil being used, more cogs being built up around the edges, and then of course our little fob watch coming in the centre there. And then in the base she's put the envelopes as well, so that the recipient has all the bits they need to give a gift of that handmade card all throughout the year, which I thought was really special. Then another little one here, this one's done by Sharon, I believe, where she's used the corners to make up the central panel, and she's used the corners in the corners. Another one here done by Wendy, where she's taken the postage stamp, and I've got that right this time for the first time, postage stamp squares, and put the corners over the edges. She's used the glitter going around the edge here on some double-sided tape to make a really sparkly border. Then the corners being used to create a little podium for our race car and our trophy and our petrol pump coming in on this one. And of course, that's our lovely stencil being used in the reverse of it. The corners, because they're going to stay in your cardstock, also make great borders. So I've used 3 or 4 of them here and just placed them and cut them to make a little strip going down the main panel. Then added the fob watch onto the top of it. And then this is what I was on about earlier, about being pretty and delicate with our steampunkness too. So again, we've got our corners brought in, inside the cog squares, the oval pierced element being brought into the centre, our fob watch, our flowers, our mini cogs, and our entwined foliagey bits. Must remember the name of that one eventually.
Entwined leaves.
Entwined leaves being brought in. Thanks, Pete. See, this is why we have to keep Pete in.
Or
one of the main reasons.
Very
so that
few
he can
uses.
nod me when or poke me when I go off on the wrong tangents. Please yell if I miss any questions, Pete, because I will just keep waffling. I'm too excited and we'll waffle for hours. April, I'm thinking that the steampunk cutout on, let's have a little look, I'm losing your chipboard, would be amazing. A steampunk Christmas tree with a hat. Very nice, why not? And goggles, but in between holidays, this would be a fun. Can you cut chipboard with dies? Can you cut chipboard with dies? That's... it depends on what level of chipboard you're looking at, what thickness. As a rule, I would say no, but it does depend on what machine you're working with. And again, what dies you're looking at. If you were looking at the outside edges, which are a lot less filigree than something like the Cog background, then maybe you could give it a go. But you're looking for an electronic machine, you're looking for thin chipboard, and you're looking for more basic dies, in my opinion. But the good bit with a die is you can normally try and cut it and see how it goes without it creating too many problems. Fran asks, is the glitter biodegradable? I'm sorry, it isn't. I'm going to be honest with you, and I know this is awful, but I'm hoping that we will use it responsibly, which is something I never thought we'd have to say about glitter, but it's true, we do, and we should. And we have to clean up responsibly and make sure that we're using it in the right ways, 100%. Biodegradable glitter is very dull. You know, I'm not going to be honest. I am being honest. It's a very dull finish to it, and they haven't yet perfected it in the right way for us to want to bring that to you as our first glitter. I'm not saying we won't later down the line introduce a biodegradable glitter, but this one currently isn't, I'm afraid. But it is something we are always looking at and always trying to do our bit. So never say never, just this one currently isn't a biodegradable glitter. But thank you for the question, because it's always good to know what's going on and to have your sort of thoughts. And if that's something that's important to many of you, again, please feed it back to us, because we respond to what you're asking for. And if we know that that's a product that you're struggling to find on the market and would like us to do, we'll put sort of as much attention and ability into it as we possibly can. Pauline, she's trying to cook salmon risotto. I don't
Yes, please.
Pete says yes, please.
I'll be around later.
So
hopefully.
now we want to visit the pub to be with Kim. We want to go see our lovely blue lady, and we're going to Pauline's.
They're all up for the pub
risotto.
live, so
Very good. Okay, next die. Let's go back to where we were. So again, Pete, yell if I miss anything, because I will. Our lovely tool collection, just sharing with you some quick samples. This one's done by our lovely Wendy, get it in the right place. Done by our lovely Wendy, where she's made a little toolbox. This one, I believe, is done by Ian. I loved this. I thought this was great. Metallic inks brought down, dipped the paintbrushes in some metallic inks, cut them and layered them up. Very, very cool. One here, I believe, done by Sharon, where she's gone very full on silver and built those up. Is this one? Oh, this one's Ian. Was that one Sharon? Oh, that was Ian as well. Sorry, Ian. So another one here done by Ian, doing some colouring with the metallic inks. I'm going to have to try reading the back here, aren't I? Ian again. That one again, some lovely mirror card tools. Oh, I'm on a bit of an Ian roll. Ian's brought in and created this sort of background hanging in the shed style vibe to the tools that I thought was very, very cool. A little mini scrapbook page I've done, so an 8x8 page. I've embossed the brickwork on the back on a scoreboard, did each brick individually, and then I've built up the tools around the borders, added in the frame in the middle to put my photo in, and a little tab on there for some journaling. Another little paintbrush one. I got really carried away colouring in the tools and bits, sorry, so you've got lots of these. And another one I'll demo, hopefully on highlight, where I've made up a tool background. And then this one might be the one where you go, yeah, that's what he's on about, making the letters. I don't know why, but I keep feeling I want to shape these into names and words and bits. So possibly that's an idea you might want to take and run with, but it's a really fun one to work and create with, whether you wish to do all of the tools or just some of them. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this one is Racing Essentials. So this, oh, how cool is this? This one's done by Ian as well. So Ian's done his little JR Crafts background that looks like the sponsorships on the racetrack, which I thought was really, really cool. I thought that was a great idea. Then he's brought in our cars, doing a little race across the base there, and then a little champagne bottle up there with the birthday wishes. This one's done by Ian as well, where he's brought in the motorbike and added it onto the lattice background. When we brought out the lattice background, I said a lot of times, you know, there's going to be a collection that's going to work really well with this. This is the collection I had in mind. I really felt that the sort of mechanical aspect worked really nice with the lattices. Another one here done by Ian, where he's built up the race car and he's brought in the petrol pump. And he's sort of blended the background, which I thought was really lovely. Another one here done by, I forgot whose yellow post-its, I think that's Lynn, where she's brought this one in and built it up with the corners. No, this one's cool. I love this diamonds stencil that we sort of refer back to every now and again. But Lynn's inked through the diamond stencil and then brought in that sort of checkered flag aspect and then added the motorbike on there and a few cogs. Another one bringing in lots of the cars all over the background here with the background stencil behind it and the little flags. Another little one here as well with the car being built up. I love this car. I thought that looked really nice. And then there is a few more, but I'm not going to share all of them with you because we're going to be here forever. Because as I said, genuinely, we have got hundreds of samples, and I mean hundreds. We've literally got sort of 50 that I've done, and then over 50 that the DT have done. So yeah, literally over 100 samples to share with you. And I'm going to be here forever if I'm not careful. And that isn't a problem for me, but I don't want to bore you lot to tears. So onto the background, just sharing with you some quick samples of where these have been used, because I think you're going to see very clearly and quickly how we can cut that, how we can layer that, how we can build up. Huge mention though. Isn't this gorgeous? This was Ian, wasn't it? Yeah, Ian has done this one. How gorgeous is this tag? So this is one of our MDF tags, and hopefully you're seeing all of the details that Ian has brought in here. And I love the way he's snipped the background and put it into different places, brought in the corners, brought in the individual cogs, the key, even the butterfly from the floral lace collection. More to come with that collection later this year, actually, just as a little hint, but there will be more to that one. But lovely to see it brought in and used in this sense. I even like the way he's double stacked his die cuts to make the little hanger to go on the top of the tag. Very, very cool from the chain that comes with the fob watch. Then a background here with the glitters. So again, bringing in those glitters, sharing with you some of the colours that you're going to see. So you've got the lovely rose quartz, you've got the heliodor, and you've got the argentite going on that background there. But it just shows you how intense that sparkling shimmer is. Then another background done this time on a framed off the middle, built that up with some flowers. And then a last one here with the motorbike. And this one I've cut from black card and I've used the metallic inks over the top of it. How are we doing, Pete? How many more dies we got to go? One more? We really need to demo something and show them how this is going to work.
Dawn was asking roughly what size the tools are, please.
Tools, let's give you a little measure. So the actual plate for the tools, let's give you an idea of that. The actual die itself, the largest is, which is the cog edge outside die, is 4.8 inches by 4.8 inches. But if we give you a couple of measurements of individual tools, that might be a better guide for you. So if we go down to here, the spanner is 5.5 centimetres-ish, which translates to 2.25 inches, just over 2.25 inches. The hammer is 2.75 inches. The saw, which is the biggest, is just over 4 inches. And hopefully, we'll just screw head because they're nice to know about. So they're about 1/2 inch, just shy of 1/2 inch, to give you an idea. But let me know if you want to know any more details. But that gives you a rough idea of just a few of the bits on there. But any other questions, please ask, because that's why we're here. That's so the joy about being interactive and being able to be with you and answer your questions. So please yell away if you've got any questions. So on to the Steampunk Essentials set. Now again, we've got a bit carried away with this one as a DT and a team. So I'm going to whisk through some of these quite quickly. Another glorious tag. I love the way that this one's done by Wendy, that they're bringing in these MDF tags from our collections and decorating these. I think this is working really well with that sort of luggagey, travel-y, steampunky fort. Now this one, this is Ian again. Look how glorious this is. So Ian's used 2 of our different sets of hanging pendants and parts. He's got our, I can't remember the names, is this our rectangles MDF at the top here?
Yeah,
cut corner,
hanging rectangles,
and then our circles underneath it. And I also really like the way he's brought in, where we've got our flying ship, he's brought in the Christmas village set to use the houses to go underneath that. And I thought that was a really clever idea, but really delicate, very, very cool. In the middle, he's used the chains from the fob watch, which comes in with this set, but he's put wire through them and he's double stacked the dies so that they've got a bit of strength and so that that makes its own supportive hangy element to hang the 2 independent pieces, which I thought was a really clever use and way to build them. Another little one here with the corners and the hat being brought in. I think this one here is, oh, this one's Ian as well. He's made a little card blank and then from the postage stamp edge ones, but then brought in the cog edges, the keys, the fob watch, and built that up. This one's really cool as well. A little panelled background that's been made. And then, oh my goodness, I've got to share this with you. This one's done by Lynn. Look how amazing this is. Anybody in your family who is into steampunk, or any friends, or if you're making to sell, you imagine that on your stall. Anybody at all who is into their steampunk-esqueness or their mechanicalness or anything along them lines is going to fall in love with that, aren't they? Isn't that glorious? So Lynn, I know, has used squares and rectangle dies to make up the panelling in the background. She's added on some pearls to which she's coloured. She's brought in the cogs and outplaced those around randomly. She's then gone to the steampunk set for the hat, the pipework, the clock, and the flying ship, and built up on top of that. And this is all on top of one of our MDF hearts. And that just blew my mind. I thought that was absolutely incredible. Isn't that a work of art? And again, if you're making to sell, that's going to blow everything else out of the water, isn't it? I would pay handsomely for that if I see that out and about. And to me, that's what we all want to achieve, isn't it? That's what we want to make. That's what we want to create. And this one's done by Lynn as well. She actually made this for me for Christmas because they've been working with this collection for a little while. So it was to me and Pete for Christmas, which I thought was a really lovely hint to the collection that was coming in January and really nice. And I wanted to share it with you in this because it's nice to see how you can take steampunk and bring it in with our other collections to make cards to go all throughout the year, which I thought was really lovely. And then another one using that pipe corner to be a little corner background. Another one bringing in the flying ship and adding it into the centre. And then this one I've got to share with you. Again, another one here by Lynn. Lynn has done us proud of this. I thought this was glorious. This, of course, is our kaleidoscope die set when I spoke about the cogs earlier. So she's used the kaleidoscope segments to make up the background. She's brought in the corners, which come with the kaleidoscope segments, to add on to the corners. And then she's built up on top of it with all of our different pieces from in this set, bringing in the butterfly to build up that sort of really cool hat at the top here, bringing in the ripple bloom flowers to go underneath the clock. I just thought that was lovely. So another one there to share with you. So how are we doing? What else have we got to share? We've just got a couple of samples left to share with them from the stencils, I believe, haven't we, Pete? Is that yours or mine? I'm getting confused now. I think that might be your one. So onto a couple of stencil samples. So this is using the mini cogs, embossing it and then inking over the top of it. That's this set here, the mini masks. This one's done by Sharon, I believe, and she's brought them in and laid them down, misted over the top of them, then built up on top of it. This one is done by Wendy, and Wendy has embossed them through her machine, added metallic inks over the top of them. Another one here done by Wendy, where she's laid them down, misted over the top of them, and then built up on top of it. This one's glorious. Who's this one? This one's Lynn. Another one where we've laid them down, misted over the top, built up on top. And then me just having a little play here. I wanted to lay them out to make a bit of a sash with them or a little bit of a flow with them. And then used all of our different elite misters to mist over the top of them and make that background really multicoloured, just to show you a different style. And then our last one, and then I promise we will make something, because we need to give something away, if nothing else. So this is our Cogs stencil set. And then with this one, we've done a little bit of inking and building up. We've done some embossing, letter pressing with inks. We've done, oh, this one I think is Wendy, isn't it? I love this one. So she's built her butterfly, making the cogs, added in the flowers, embossed the background. Another one here with some texture paste being used through it. Another little texture paste one. This one's really cool, making a little apron with the tools in it. Another texture paste one with the corners being built up over the top. Another one done here by me with just some texture paste and some embossing. And is that not it, Pete? You're still going. I told him that would be it. These ones are glitters, and then I promise we're going to do something. So this is the black and the silver from the glitters. Can you see that sparkle? Isn't that beautiful? So this is what I mean about a sparkly glitter. This is the black and the silver. So you've got black onyx and argentite coming into play this time with the glitters. This one is all four of the colours being put over clear texture paste to make up a background. This one is done by Wendy, where she has coloured her cogs with the glitters, which looks really impressive. This one again done by Wendy, where she's used the glitters in the background. And then one done by Lynn, I believe, where she's done some die cutting from glittered panels. And then one done by me, where I've put the die cut down and then sprinkled glitter over the top of it. Now, I hope that gives you a bit of inspiration. I feel like I've been talking a million to the dozen for a best part of the day. If you've got any questions, please can you let us know, and I will do my best to answer them for you. If you haven't got any questions, then we will get on with doing some demos. Oh, the cards would be perfect for my brother-in-law, says Joanna. That's lovely to hear. That's kind of what we wanted. You know, we will do a million flower collections and we will do a load of everyday collections, but it's really nice to sort of home in on them difficult to do cards, them ones that we hear time and time again. Since the very first time we said we're going to do Jamie Rodgers crafts, we had people messaging in saying, can we have a masculine collection? Can we have something a bit tall-esque, a bit steampunky? And it's been really great to be able to bring you that kind of aspect, that kind of collection. Could you stencil the bike petrol tank?
Not too sure what that means.
Could you make a stencil of the die cut? Yes, if that helps, Fran, you could die cut it and then use that as a stencil if that's something that would help. I'm hoping that we've got that right. Is the Formula One car? Is there a Formula One car? I'm not very good with cars. We've got a racing car, but I don't know. Do you class that as a Formula One car? It's more like a drag car, isn't it, than a Formula One car, to be fair.
Yeah, more drag.
More drag-esque, to be honest. But as always, this is the beginning, so you never know. If it's popular, we'll do more. Do you class that as Formula One? I can't pretend I'm that up on my racing.
We're no Lewis Hamilton, are we?
No, we're no Lewis Hamilton. But that's our racing car attempt. And then you've got a hot rod and you've got a motorbike to hopefully help with that. But please forgive me looking into my glass of Coke. I've got to have something to drink. My throat's dying. I ain't stopped waffling forever, have I? But no, it's our attempt at kind of decorate everything. Oh, actually decorate the petrol tank on the moat using the master. Yes, you could. Why couldn't you? Absolutely. If you want to, Fran, that's a great idea. Sorry, me and Pete were being a bit silly. We didn't quite get that, but that's a great idea. Now, there are a lot more samples to share with you, as I said, but I think we really need to do something, don't we? So if you haven't all fallen asleep already, let's get you to join in and win our creations, because it would be nice to share something with one lucky winner. So can you tell us in the comments, what's your dream car? Because we're mechanical, because we're on that edge, what's your dream car? If you could have any car in the world, fill the comments with what your dream car is, and Peter will pick one lucky winner to win the cards that we create this evening, and we will post them out to you anywhere in the world. Is there Bacardi in your Coke, Jamie? No, Lou, there isn't. I possibly should have. It might help in life, mightn't it? But no, I don't actually really drink, being honest. Very, very rarely. Me and Pete have been together. How many years have we been together? Is it 13? Yeah. 13 this year? And Pete has only ever seen me drunk once, I believe. I can't think of any other occasions. And that was my niece's 18th birthday.
I'm confessing nothing.
But that's it. That's the only time I sort of got a bit tipsy. It's not wise for me to get tipsy. So not in a bad way, just in a not a very good way. Yeah, I'm a cuddly drinker. And it's got me in lots of trouble, but I am a cuddly drinker, so you know it's best I don't drink. So okay, anyway, we don't want any more confessions from me and my drinking. So let's move on. This is the card that I thought we would demo for you, just showing you how pretty and delicate steampunk cogs mechanics can be, or mechanical can be. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to bring in some dies. So we're going to start off with our cog edges, because this to me is your foundation that we're going to work with every time we work with this collection. We're then going to bring in one of the pierced edges. Now this is the pierced edge which comes with the scalloped and pierced. And I have to move this camera, it's doing me a din. Let's move that down a bit. I don't know why we're off to one edge, so let's bring you back to where you should be. That's perfect. So we're going to work with the pierced edge and we're going to use the cog edge to it. We are then going to bring in the corner elements. So we're not using the X die, as I like to refer to it, as the one that's going to cut them out. we're going to use the main panels, and we're going to bring them in and we're going to place them down just in the edges of our panel. Now, you've seen me do this before, but it's something I really love to share with you because I often waffle on about this. But when we bring you all of these edges or these dies without edges, this is what I've got in mind. It's having the ability to bring them in and lay them all out on your plate and create really cool background dies without having to buy endless background dies. We're then going to bring in another one of our pierced squares and we're going to put that in the centre just to add a bit of detail to the middle of our creation. And we're going to grab a piece of white card and we're going to send this through the machine. So let's send that through and see what we create. Now, while that's going through, let's chat about our flowers. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out from gold mirror card just some of our rippled blooms flowers, and I'm just going to go round and pinch up each of the petals to give it a little bit of body. Nothing too intense, just a little bit of shape. And I would carry that on and I would shape my flower until I'm happy with it, and then I would build up lots of layers with inside that flower. So we'll go back to this now that's cut. We can take away the outside edge. So of course, this part is great because of straight away, if you look at these and you think, well, actually, what am I going to do with them bits? Take that part off, take off the other edges, and then put that at the top and the bottom of your project, whether you put that into a frame or not, up to you. And then bring in your cogs. And I don't know if we shared you any samples with this, but bring in your cogs and put them in between the teeth. And you can then make up a little sash or a banner or a border, or again, spell out words or make backgrounds or fill the whole area with each of those cogs, and they sit perfectly between them. So even the bits that you might look at and think, well, I didn't need the frame, these bits make perfect borders, whether you're going to use them on their own or if you want to bring them together. And you can even nest them. I'll do it so you can see it. You can even nest them back together, and then they look a little bit like a zip, which is kind of cool as well. So lots of ways you can play around with those, as well as the actual aperture, the frame, and of course the main panel to which we're trying to create. So we're going to take these bits away. Now everything is cut for us beautifully. Even these really ornate corners, everything is cut. These bits at the top, we just need to go in and poke those out, but you don't want to watch me poke out endless pieces, but they're all cut perfectly. We just need to get them out from inside that piece of card. But that is going to create for you your main panel for us to then build up with our card. So we'll place all of these bits out of the way for the second, and we're going to start bringing in the card and building that up. So size-wise on the actual card blank, because I know some of you like to know where we're going with this, this card is 1/4x7, so 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, and we're going to step down with our layers. So we're going to go in with some gold mirror card, which is going to be 6.5 by 6.5 for our first layer. We're then going to bring in some of our Night Sky Navy Elite cardstock, and we're going to add that onto it. And we're using our 1mm foam tape for this layer. Oh, a Dodge Charge in purple. Oh, Joanna, I'm with you. That sounds rather lovely. I do like a Dodge. A Mini Cooper. Mini Cooper for Margarita. That's lovely. Oh, throw me panel across the floor. Oh, it's good you weren't live on the face then. I literally took my tape off and caught it and threw it. Oh, it's all going wrong. So taking off our foam tape off of the backs of these, and we're going to bring that in and we're going to place it down, honestly. And that's without the Bacardi. Imagine with the Bacardi. See, it's not a good idea that we had Bacardi in the Coke, is it at all? What other cars have we got coming in? I like to know about the cars. I like to know where we're sort of lingering. If we're going to go and visit somebody and they've got expensive tastes, we need to know about
gone
it.
Straight for a Lamborghini.
Oh, a Lambo. Oh, all right. Okay, so then we're going to take our, I can't remember the name again, Pete. I've done it again. Entwined corners. Entwined
leaves.
Entwined something. Oh, I don't know. You know by now. You've heard me struggle with that enough times, haven't you? And we're going to bring that in and we're going to put that, I think, about there. And we're going to fluff them up a little bit. So these have all been cut out of gold mirror, and I've just sandwiched them between a couple of bits of foam tape so I can stick them down in one go. And we're going to bring in a couple of those flowers that we've already been working with. I think I've done that wrong, actually. Oh, well, never mind. We're going to go with it. We're going to bring this in. And we'll add a bit more foam tape, if we can, to the back of one of the flowers.
Something you've been drinking and something you need a drink.
Oh, I think I need. Yeah, I haven't been. This is just genuine excitement for life. This is, and getting to share with you this collection because it's been genuinely. This is a collection that's been worked on. I don't know. When did we start working on this one, Pete? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Oh, it's a few months, isn't it?
It's been a few months since we started sort of coming up with the concoctions for this one and where we wanted to take it and what we wanted to do with it. And then we're going to bring in, and we're going to do, I think we're going to do the clock first actually. So I'm going to be naughty because I haven't brought a sponge with me. So I'm going to put a bit of glue out and we're going to put the clock mechanism onto the card, and then we're going to put the fob watch over the top of it. So we're going to bring that in and we're going to eye out where we need to be. You normally wouldn't have tape on the back of yours, but we're going to go for there and we're going to go for it. Should actually have it looking at the right way. There we go, that'll do. And then we're going to bring that in and we're going to put that over the top so that your clock mechanism fits behind your fob watch. So hopefully you can see that okay. So we've got our fob watch going on, and then we've got our clock, and then we've got our mechanism, and then we've got our flowers. And that was a really quick example of how we could build up that card. So it's really not too complicated and very, very simple to do, and hopefully quite inspiring at what you could be creating with these, because I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this collection. There's loads of ways you're going to be able to take this off and sort of create with it. Then you think of all the different flowers and bits you're going to be able to mix in with this. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. Do we have any questions that we've missed out on as yet?
Colette's asking if you'll have these on Highlight Crafts this week.
Oh, we will have them on Highlight Crafts, and somewhere around here, I see you wrote it down. Where did we put it? So our highlight.
You can read it.
Honestly, memory like a sieve. Our Highlight Craft shows are going to be Thursday at 9 AM and 12 PM on midday, and then we're going to be on Friday for a 2-hour show at 10 AM. So we'll be on at 10 AM and 11 AM. So on Thursday, 9 AM, we will have a little look at the mechanical collection, and we'll go for an hour of that. And then at 12, we will be back with the essential collection, and we'll be bringing with us the clear texture paste that we're about to use, and we will give you some inspiration with that collection. And then on Friday, we'll have 2 hours of just delving in deep into the mechanical collection and sharing with you a bit more inspiration from that one. So lots and lots and lots to come. 4 full hours of inspiration between this collection and, as I mentioned, the essential collection. So this isn't a demo, this is just me playing really, but I did want to show you these glitters because I haven't got a proper demo to do with them because I'm conscious of time, but I do want to show you a little bit of inspiration with the glitters. So I've gone ahead and I've got my stencil out already, and I've put it down onto a piece of black card, and we're going to use some clear texture paste over the top of this just to get our body down, or our adhesive down as such, to hold in place our glitter. Now, of course, you don't have to work with our clear texture paste. You could be working with our Gemstones texture paste, which of course match the colours perfectly, and then building up on top of that with other colours. You've seen before, I'm sure, some of our videos or demos on Highlight where we've taken the glitters, the Gemstone glitters, Gemstones texture paste, sorry, and mixed them together to make new colours. Well, now you don't have to mix them together. You could literally sprinkle in another colour of glitter into that mix and make that your concoction instead. So lots and lots of ways you're going to be able to take these and add them into your recipes, add them into your creations. But this is just a quick demo. We're going to take away our stencil and we're going to give that to Peter, who's going to put that somewhere nice and safe. And we're going to bring in a piece of paper to collect our glitter. So all I'm going to do this time is bring in our glitters individually. We're going to start off with the rose quartz. Now, hopefully you can see, if we left that, that would just dry with a really nice glossy effect to it. But we want to add the glitter. So we're going to bring in our first colour and we're going to sprinkle that across the bottom. We're then going to go in a little bit higher. We're going to do a little line of it. And we're going to finish off across the top with a little bit of it as well. Now, at any stage, you can, of course, use what you've just put out on your paper. You don't have to keep going into it if you don't want to. We'll put the excess back into the, I'm sorry, you can't see me, can you? I've just gone off the edge. Put that back into the little pot, using our paper as a funnel. And then we're going to bring in the black, because I always forget the black. So we're going to go into the black next, and we're going to add in a couple of lines of the black onyx. This doesn't have to be spot on or perfect. We'll take away the excess of that. Now, another thing, if you don't like repotting your glitters, Another thing I tend to do, we ought to do that actually. We're going to do that. We're going to do two things at once. We're going to bring out some of that rose again, and we're going to add that back into the combination because I want to show you something else at the same time. Save me keep putting them all back. And then we're going to bring in the gold. I'm going to do a couple of lines of the gold. So the gold, by the way, is called Heliodor. Now, if you don't know this, which I'm sure you do because you're an intelligent bunch, these are all names of traditional proper gemstones. And because it's our gemstones collection, they've all got, of course, proper gemstones names. So our gold is called Heliodor, and then our silver is Argentite. And we're going to bring the silver in, and we're going to add that in the areas that we haven't yet got any other colours. So we'll do a little bit more of a sprinkle of that over the top, and we'll make sure that that's all in place. And we're going to tap off our excess. Now, leave this to dry and then give it a brush, and you are going to end up with a beautiful stripy background that's going to look really, really intensely sparkly, which is actually really, really lovely. Now, the mix that we've created, and this is something I really like to do, is create our new mixes, because it's just like all of the other products we talk about, there's no reason why we can't take our mixes and do different things with them. We don't have to keep them separate. We can make our own combinations. So we're going to bring in our stencil again, and we're going to bring in a piece of white card, and I've just got a small piece. I've got an offcut of one of our self-adhesive sheets. And we're going to take the top of that off, and we're going to place it down onto the white card. And then we're going to bring in our stencil. Now, if you've not seen this technique, are we going to do that technique? We're not going to do that technique, actually. I'm going to save that for another day. All we're going to do is make up a bit of a background, show you that it will look lovely. So we're going to take that bit back, because I don't think I'm going to want all of this. This is what happens when I go off on a tangent. And we're going to try and mix this together. I would normally put this into a pot and mix it, but we're going to mix it round a little bit in between itself, just so that we've got more of a colour combination. And we're going to sprinkle that on over the top of this, and then we can burnish that down, just showing you that there's no reason why we can't take our excess and make our own backgrounds with it. Now, I have a feeling that I know several of the design team have done this and then die cut out of this background, because this gives you what looks like really glittery, rusty cogs, which looks really nice, or very antique-y finishes. It's also a really nice way to use up any excess you've got if you don't want to put it back in the pot. But of course, you can put it back in the pot if you prefer. Burnish that down just slightly. This is just a good way for me to absolutely cover myself in glitter, isn't it, really? I love a bit of glitter. Nothing wrong with a sparkle. So there we have our multi-tonal. Can you see all the different shades coming through? And this is something I think we sometimes forget with glitters. We're used to mixing colours of mediums that once mixed create a new colour. And we all fear ending up brown, don't we? We all fear that when we're mixing our colours together of our watercolour inks, that it's going to end up muddy and brown, and that we didn't want to end up there. Well, with glitter particles, they're all separate particles, so you're not going to colour them. They're not going to discolour by mixing. You just end up with a multicoloured background, which I think can look really, really cool, and again could be mixed into different things. So Joanne asks, are they the same names as the Gemstones texture base? They are exactly the same to save confusion. So again, you've got Heliodor, Black Onyx, Rose Quartz and Argentite, and they're exactly the same names as the corresponding colours when you go to the Gemstones texture paste. Now, I know you're always one step ahead of us. There are 12 colours in the Gemstones texture paste, and there are currently 4 colours of glitter in my hands. I'm looking to Peter at the end of the room there. I think that needs to be addressed, don't you, Peter? So as I said earlier, throughout the year, it won't be tomorrow because of, things take time, and we're not going to overload you with loads all in one go, hopefully. But throughout the year, we will, of course, build up that collection to make sure that all of the colours of Gemstones texture paste are represented in glitter, because I do genuinely feel there's a lot of ways in which you might want to do a glittery border around a project and then do a stenciled panel in the middle with the Gemstones texture paste. Or you might do the technique that I often go on about, where we brush the Gemstones texture paste over the flowers and have like it built up around the tips, and then want to add some glitter in, or die cut out of the glitter. You can die cut out of the Gemstones texture paste if you put it over card, but you're going to end up using a lot more than if you put glitter out over the card and then die cut from that. So to me, I think there's a really great synergy between having both products but with exactly the same colour and particle of glitter, so they can work in all the different ways and be added into all the different recipes that you might want to do. So another little card. Shall we do another little card and see what we can create? Shouldn't have thought to burnish the glitter. Have so much, but banned from using. Long story. Oh dear, Fran. You can't tell us there's a long story and then not tell us what the story is. We need to know what's going on. Whenever I use glitter, the dog is sparkly. I've got Sherlock. Sherlock's our lovely black cat. Yeah, we struggle, don't we? Sherlock is often looking like a disco ball and has to be cleaned, which he doesn't enjoy. But yeah, it does go everywhere, doesn't it? But then I look at me, I'm turning into a bit of a glitter ball myself at the moment. So on to our next one. I thought we would have a very quick little look at the tool set because I really, really love the tools. And I think these are going to be one of them things that I go back to time after time. Now again, and I'm going to get yelled at, Pete might throw things at me. We have 2 collections that we're releasing in January. You know that. I told you that during this live and I told you that before Christmas. In the next collection, there might be something that goes very well with this release. And this is what I mean about us building. And it's only one something, maybe, if there is something, but there's possibly something that goes in very nicely with this collection. And this is what we mean about building stories and building collections, because to us, that's really important, that when we bring you releases, that there's more to that story and more will build. But I've told you this, you know that. So on to our tools. I've got a couple here that I've gone ahead and die cut out. I haven't actually brought up the best colour selection by the looks of it. So we're going to go with we're not going to go with black because you're not going to see it. We're going to go with a pink screwdriver. So all we're going to do is bring in some alcohol markers. I've got lots of different brands here that are all just, to be honest with you, on their last legs. But we're going to bring in some alcohol markers. I'm going to do a matching set. So we'll do the pliers to match screwdriver. And I'm colouring on black card. This is possibly a tip that you've seen me sort of mention before. But anytime you're colouring a white die cut, if you colour on top of black card, you're going to see if you've missed a bit a lot quicker than if you're colouring on white card, because of any edges that you miss are going to show up a lot quicker on the black than they will the white. And then I haven't bought a grey, Pete. This is terrible. So we're going to go for a lighter colour of pink. Oh, that's virtually grey. So we'll go for the lighter colour of pink being added to the edges for the sort of metal part of our pliers. Oh. And we'll do the same going down the screwdriver as well. So just as simple as that, to just add some colour to these, nothing at all complicated. And as I keep saying, this is where I feel we could bring these in and start turning them into letters, borders, corners, all the different elements that you could possibly want to. But I've gone ahead for speed and I've done a whole set. So I've got a little hammer, a spanner, a screwdriver and the set of pliers, and we'll bring these in and start building them up. So I've added some 1mm foam tape on the back of that, and we're going to start bringing these in and placing them down. So the dates for the collection, I can see a question from Fran. So this one is on Hobby Maker on Thursday and Friday, which is going to be the 16th and 17th, correct? 16th and 17th of January. And then we will be releasing it to all of our stockists on the 20th, which is Monday the 20th. So not many days to wait, but giving you a little sneaky so that you can start planning. We always feel, and we always sort of question whether we do the right thing by giving you a few days notice and these sneaky peeks, but we feel it gives you the ability to plan ahead, whether it's a show you want to watch, whether it's a collection you want to purchase, whether it's something that you like the look of. So we try to give you as much notice as we can do when all of the samples are here and when the products have arrived, and give you a little look. Fran, we're not on Hobby Maker, we're on Highlight Crafts. So if you've not found Highlight Crafts yet, which I thought you had, but if you haven't yet found Highlight Crafts, it's a Facebook Live style event where you watch online, you can watch on Facebook, you can watch on the Highlight Crafts website. I believe you can watch on the live shopping website when that's up and running, I believe as well. And I believe you can also watch on YouTube too, can't you? Yeah, you can watch on YouTube, and you can watch on Instagram, but I've got no idea about Instagram. I'm terrible with Instagram. I keep trying, but I'm not very good with Instagram. But it's also on Instagram as well. And then as you're shopping, you don't have to go off anywhere. You just say the names in the comments. You say shop mechanical, for instance, or shop mega, and it will put that collection or that item into your basket for you. And then in your messenger on Facebook, you will receive a message that links you to the website to go and order it. And then you go through and that item is already in your basket on the website along with all of the other items that you've questioned. And then you can check out and have the item sent to you. Hopefully I've described that or explained that correctly. I've heard it explained about 1,000,000 times, but I'm never too sure if I get it right. But it's along them lines. But tune into the shows. Our Highlight Craft shows are also broadcast live on my Facebook page. So just where you are right now, watching this live, the Highlight Crafts ones will also be broadcast on this page too, and you'll be able to watch and shop on there as well. Card size wise, this one's 1/4x5 by 4 inches. We've just made a dinky little small tent fold card out of the tools, and we've added the happy birthday banner onto the middle of it as well to give you a little idea on how that's going to work for you. And then of course it could be built up into all different sizes, all different styles. I often get told I only make large cards, and I know a lot of our international viewers especially like to see how the collection can come together to make smaller cards. This collection I think is probably the most easily transferred into any size project you want to work on, whether it's a big 12x12, whether it's a huge canvas for a wall, whether it's a tiny little card because of you're just making gift tags or gift cards. I feel this one, there's something in every part of it that's going to go off and sort of work for you. And even like the big backgrounds, although we've given it to you in a big format, trim it down. It's still the same background. It's better to give you a big background or a big stencil and you have the ability to trim it down to where you want, than give you a really small one and you not be able to build it up to the background that you want it to be. So we'd prefer to as I say, give you larger for you to trim down than start off small and make you try and wish that it was bigger. That makes sense, hopefully. Cute little card, says Judy. That was my aim. I love little dinky cards, even sort of gift tag size cards as such. Have I missed anything else, Peter?
My comments seem to have frozen.
Fran, Craftmania will have the products when it's released to all of the stockists on Monday. So again, Monday for those. Have I missed anything else? It's on the highlight. Jamie made a mistake. Did I make a mistake? I probably did. I get all of the names confused, honestly. And it just as when you think you get all of the names right, they go and change them and bring back up new ones, don't they? And that confuses the life out of me. My mind isn't what it used to be. It's fried. I think it's filled full of glitter. I love being giving a heads up on your new collections. I can budget ahead. That's kind of what we like to do. It's even like when we tell you that there'll be another release in January. You know, a lot of companies and a lot of people don't tend to sort of pre-warn you that other things are coming. But, you know, if you're looking at this collection and it won't be everybody's cup of tea, you might think, well, I don't really like that one. I might hold out for the next one. It's always in our mind better that you know as much as we can what's coming and when it's coming and why it's coming and how that's going to work together with what you're doing. That's our attempt anyway. I'm not saying it always works, but we try to. Rose asks, where can I watch previous videos? So it depends on what type of videos you're looking for. If you're looking for inspirational videos, card demos, even catching up with Facebook Lives, you can watch them all on our YouTube channel, which is Jamie Rodgers Crafts. A lot of the videos like these lives, you can go on, I think it's called videos. On the top of the Facebook page, you've got a few different sections, like photos about us, things like that. There's one called videos or something along them lines. If you give that a click, you'll see all of our highlight craft shows that we've done previously. They'll all be shown on there. And all of the different lives I've done over the years, they're all on there as well. So yeah, really on this page for those, or again, YouTube, you'll find lots of us on there as well. So hopefully that helps. If you're not a member of Highlight Craft, best join first as it's free and then you get 10% off of your purchase and postage coming free. Absolutely correct, Shaylee, you certainly can do. They do a great system for that, and I think you get rewards for your birthdays as well. I try to remember all of these bits, but it's good to have you here with us, reminding us. Thank you. And Fran says, fighting with a rucksack sewing kit at the moment. Oh, that sounds like fun. Channel name, please. So again, the YouTube channel, Fran, is Jamie Rodgers Crafts. if you just pop onto YouTube and search Jamie Rodgers Crafts, we will appear as if by magic, hopefully, if I'm telling you the right one, which I think I am. So one last little demo. Tonight's demos, I apologise, aren't overly complicated because we just wanted to keep it nice and simple for you this evening. I knew I'd got a lot of chatting about the collections and showing you all of the different bits. So I thought if we could fit in 3 demos that are all quite simple, hopefully that'll give you a few ideas of what you could be creating. So we're going to do one last demo before we leave you in peace because I know I'm over my time, but it's nice to just fit in as much as we can and give you a bit of inspiration. So we're going to use these lovely little mini cogs, and we're going to do a fun little demo with these. We might not do all of it to the full extent, but we're going to do a bit of it. And this is something I really love doing with these. So we're going to tip these out. And as I say, I've got more than one set here, I think. I think I've collected 2 over my time. So forgive me if I yo-yo between the 2, but you're certainly going to have enough in one set to do the desired effect. We're going to bring in the plate because we're going to be letter pressing with these. So we're going to bring in the base plate and we're going to bring in each of our stencils and we're going to bring in some oxide ink. And we're going to take the oxide ink and we're going to get a little bit messy here because we're going to pat this all over the top of the stencil or the mask. I never know why we call them masks or stencils. I've never really understood what the difference is, but we've called these mini masks, I believe, haven't we? So I'll call it a mask for the sake of that. And we're going to bring that in and we're going to place it down onto the plate. And we're not going to do loads of these because you're going to get the idea pretty quickly. But I do want you to see a few. So we're going to bring in a couple more and we're going to ink over the top. And you don't have to get a perfect coverage. This ink pad looks a little dry, to be honest. So it might not be great, but we're just going to form them back together as if they're in a chain is the aim. So we're going to make our little cog border. Now you could of course be doing this on top of a blending mat so that you're not wasting the ink on the background. I actually think that might look quite nice as a background in its own right. So I'm not too worried, but it's nice to tell you how you could save your pennies on your ink instead of being wasteful if you don't want to make up a background at the same time. Have we missed any other questions while I'm inking these, Pete?
No, I don't think so.
No? Good, good. Like to make sure that we're covering all aspects. If anyone's got any questions, please let us know. Of course, if you haven't already told us what your dream car is, please let us know and we will enter you into the competition to win what we've made this evening, which will give you the free projects that we've done. So we'll leave it there because if not, you're going to get bored of watching me ink these, which you probably are already. So we'll get rid of that bit and we're going to bring in a piece of card. And we're going to take the piece of card and we're going to lay that down over the top of this background. We're then going to bring in our rubber mat and we're going to place that over the top of that as well. And then we're going to bring in our top plate, which for this machine, so I'm using a Pro Cut Kit and Caboodle Pro Cut. So I'm using the 3mm plate, the 5mm plate, and the rubber mat. All of that comes in the box with it. And we're going to send that through the machine. Now, you've probably seen me waffle on about this many, many times because it's something I love to do. But what we're doing is we're letting that rubber mat push down on top of the card, push in the card into the apertures on the stencils or the masks. At the same time, not only will it deboss and emboss, it will also print the ink that we've put on the stencils onto the piece of card so that we end up letter pressing the ink off of the stencil onto the card and creating a really cool indented printed effect. So when we take that away, we can then see what we've created. So we've created that deboss effect, and I'll show you on this side so you can see the debossing. So that beautiful texture that we've created, and we've inlaid the ink onto the panel, which I think is a really fun way to use our little mini masks. We're then going to put that off to one side because if we've coloured the background, when I did this one, I thought, well, actually, I really like that. And I really like the effect, but I do want to kind of take the edge off. It's a bit too crisp, it's a bit too neat. So I'm then going to go in with our elephant grey of our quick dry pigment inks, and we're going to take this and we're going to rub over the top. And we're going to highlight the top of the card. Now, even in these open areas, what I found we created was what looked a bit like concrete, which was what I wanted, that sort of inlaid on concrete effect. We're going to get it more intense around the embossed areas, which is great because it's going to highlight that colouring and that letterpress effect. But all over these other areas, we're just going to give the ink a rub and colour down that white so that we've got that concrete grey coming through with our cogs on the top of it. And of course we could have added more cogs if we wanted to fill the background. We could have done them in different colours. We could have spelt out names again. We could have done them different patterns. We could have done pinstripe style lines with them. But it's about adding that vintage effect between our oxide ink and then adding that lovely grey over the top of it to make that beautiful background. And then we're going to bring that in and we're going to layer this together. So here's one we've done already in the kit to share with you, just a slightly larger format and a different version. And then we're going to layer this up on the card. So while we have been doing this, if you haven't already told us which dream car you would like, please do so, because we're going to leave you in a moment and it would be nice to know so that we can pick a winner. So our card blank is 8 1/4 inches by 6 inches. And then we're going to mat and lay out with some of our black card, and then we're going to add on the panel. So we'll add that one down to begin with. And then we'll bring in our main panel. If you've got any last minute questions, then please let us know and I'll do my best to answer them. But once we've completed this card, we'll pick our winner. We'll have a quick look through the products again and we'll leave you in peace. So we're down to like the last 5 minutes for any questions if anyone's got any.
Sheila was saying she thinks that's your 4th machine. Is it your
4th machine? No, I've got 3. I've got 3, but I am talking about ordering a 4th.
He is.
I am.
But no, she was asking, it's got my mind going, are there mini masks for the tools as well? I thought we could have.
There isn't, to be honest.
Did we choose not to?
I get a bit carried away with stencils. I love a stencil, especially when you look at them as the embossing and like the letter pressing techniques. And then obviously, like we haven't spoke about that in that demo, but being able to stamp over the top of them and then letter press what you've stamped. So yeah, basically I get a bit carried away. And we're conscious that our collections could end up humongous. So we've kind of pared it back to just 2 stencils in this release because I got a bit more carried away with the dies. And we were conscious that there's limits, we've all got limits. But we are already talking about another collection later in the year. If this collection does as well as we hope it does. And this is honesty for you. You know, we're not going to bring out a part 2 to a release that doesn't do very well, because that would be silly. That's a waste of everybody's time, isn't it? If this collection does as well as we predict it hopefully will do, then there will be a part 2 later down the line, building on hopefully to what we've already started. That might be the time that we could do some mini masks of tools, if I haven't come up with a way to fit them in the meantime. But I do like your suggestion, and that's a really cool idea. So if I can think of a way of bringing them into something else earlier, then I will do. If not, it might be a few months, but we'll work on it. But we do love stencils, don't we? We do keep adding to our sort of stencil collection because of that. And the mini mask idea was literally our first mini set we've done. I believe every stencil we've done really has been either borders or big backgrounds. And we'd really like to experiment with doing some smaller ones as well. So these were really our first sort of attempt at that. But if they prove popular, then there'll be a lot more of them to come, I'm sure. So a happy retirement little sentiment added onto the finished version. The one that I did, I stamped thinking of you on it instead and put that on, but it's nice to see that you could die cut and add a little sentiment on there instead if you prefer. But that completes our 3rd demo. So Peter, who is going to win our demos of this evening? So what have we done? We've done some tools, we've done our lovely little fob watch, and we've done our cog background. So who's going to win these 3?
So our winner is, apologies for pronouncing surname wrong, possibly, is Joanna Heenan.
I like the way you did that
Joanna.
Quietly. That was like when my nan used to say naughty words.
Joanna Heenan. So, well done, Joanna.
Sort of disappeared on us there, didn't you, Joanna?
Sorry. But a Chevrolet Impala. Don't know what one of those is.
I don't know what one of those is.
I'm going to have to have a little look later.
I don't know. Nobody asked us what ours was. What's yours?
Well, I know you want a yellow car, but...
Oh, no, I don't want a yellow one of my one.
No?
No, I
used to love a yellow car.
Range Rover. I never know if the Land Rovers or Range Rovers. I don't want to end up in Emmerdale. Don't want to do that.
Seth.
No, I don't want to look like that. But I would love a Range Rover. In black, preferably.
Well.
You know. And yours?
Oh, well, now you're asking.
Oh,
I don't know,
come
I'd
on,
like my
Peter.
mini. Oh, I'd
You
like my
like
mini
mini?
back.
Pete did have a mini when I got with him, which is hilarious because he's 6
He
foot.
made me get rid of it. He didn't make me get rid of it.
How old are you? 6 foot what?
6'3".
6'3", and there's 6'3" getting out of this tiny little mini.
It was a new mini.
It was a new mini, but it was still a tiny little mini.
I did have an old mini.
Still a very little car, considering you're a very tall person.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that did have to go quite soon, which was a shame because it was great fun to drive. I loved that little car. So anyway, sorry, Joanna. Congratulations.
Well done, Joanna.
Please pop us your address over in the comments and not comments, don't do that, in the messages, and we will send them out to you as soon as possible. So, okay, I'm going to, oh no, I said we'd run through the dies again, didn't I, just in case you've got any questions. I'm going to, 10 and 6s, talking about you and your mini. So if you've got any questions about these, just as I run through them, please let us know. But I feel you probably know that by now. I think I've probably lost the mini masks. But if you've got any questions about them, I will come back to this video at a later date and answer them if we missed them. But hopefully you've got sort of all of your questions in already. But if you haven't, then just yell. So in the collection, not in order, we have got tools, we have got steampunk, we have got our cog background, we have got our racing essentials. There is, of course, our cog corners. We have then got our cogs, and we've got our mini masks of cogs. And to finish it all off, we have got our cog background. And please don't forget that all of your outside edges between the dies will, of course, come together to make that cog nested set of dies, which to me just really gives you even better value because it means you're getting a nesting set in with them, kind of free of charge in a random kind of way. Not quite, but as best value as we could possibly bring you another nesting set. Again, and we sort of talk in sort of tell you what's going on today and talk about the future. In my head, if this is popular, then I would like to do a round 2 and bring you another shape of that cog border. So I'm really hoping that it is popular because I want to carry that cog border into more nesting shapes as well. So we'll see how it goes. See how much you all love it. But hopefully it'll prove popular because I've so enjoyed this collection and I want to do more with it. And I know the DT have. So, okay, I'm going to stop waffling, I promise. So, Jamie P, answer please. What am I answering? What was the question? Can I click it and go back to it? Oh, sorry, did I miss one?
I think they're asking about the rules of using your details on scan and cuts.
What, with the dies?
If you're allowed to.
I have no restrictions on that, really. I always think it's a bit daft. How would I prove if you had? I'm not going to come sit in your front room. Got no idea, have I? I'd like to. We'll go back to Noel's house party again, don't we?
We will.
Yeah, pop back. But no, I don't mind. If you've taken the design and want to go for it. If you've bought the die, that's your right for our products. And it saves me having to spy on you all, because that's not fair. So yeah, sorry we missed you. Not an intentional miss at all. We often miss things. It's too much waffling. So, okay, I'm going to leave you in peace because I think lots of you have stuck with us for far much longer than we normally hear. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope this has helped. If you have any more questions that we've missed, please let us know, or any questions that you come up with after the event. We're always here to answer them. And I really look forward to seeing you all on Thursday at 9 AM and 12 PM, and then Friday at 10 AM and 11 AM, where we'll bring you more inspiration with this collection on, of course, Highlight Crafts. Okay, thank you all. Have a lovely evening. Bye from me.
Bye from me.
Now I've got to remember where I find the end video again. I never know that.
See you
Thanks
next
all
time.
for watching. Bye for now.